Hello, everyone, and welcome back to True Words Aren't Beautiful for the Just Do Shit Philosophy series. Today, we are going to talk about the abundance mindset and recognizing your overlooked or undervalued and unseen talents. So, to start off, we are our own harshest critics. The meanest things we can ever say to anyone are often directed at ourselves. Even narcissists have hidden insecurities that lead to their inflated sense of self, looking for validation from others because of the hollowness inside them, the void that tells them that they are inferior, and the constant posturing in order to prove themselves superior to others, the constant desire to remind others, whether they want to hear it or not, that they are superior, because they need others to validate their superiority, to hide from the lingering feelings of inferiority. Even if you're not a narcissist, however, we are blinded to our achievements, talents, support, and resources. We don't know that there are people who care for us, that we can ask for help. We don't know that there are talents that we have that actually have value. You can charge for these talents, and even if you don't charge for them, someone might find value. You don't realize that there are things you have achieved that also have value. You don't realize that there is help, not necessarily from people, but resources, whether it's online or from an organization, be it government or private individuals and groups that can give you support. I'd like to reference Donald Rumsfeld and Slavoj Žižek. Regardless of your feelings about Donald Rumsfeld when he served under the Bush administration during the Iraq invasion in 2003, and regardless of your thoughts of the Slovenian philosopher Slavoj Žižek, their points are important to understand what I'm about to share in a moment. Donald Rumsfeld talked about three things at a lecture called the known knowns, known unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. He was referring to intelligence when it came to weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. This is how he confirmed that there are things that they knew, and there are things that they don't know, and there are things that civilians know, and there are things that civilians don't know. At the same time, this applies to, in the intelligence community, many things they still don't know, but they're aware that they don't know them, and there are things they don't know that they don't know. Apply this framework of known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns to your life. And let's look at this as an analysis on yourself. Using me as an example, here are my known knowns. Here's where I put my attention to. And my attention is what allows me to focus on what I have. And if I don't focus on it, I forget. When I wake up, I think of my material wealth. I think of my stability. Yes, I have a home. I still have somewhat of an income stream and support from a patron. I have my 2 beautiful dogs. I have my college degree. And I have a lot of unexplored potential. I have my material goods, whether it's my video games or my books, and my art supplies and guitar. I have friends who care. I have dual citizenship, which is very useful for travel, and also helps me with living in the Philippines and leaving if I need to. Those are my known knowns. Those are the things I put attention to. Now, there's plenty more which someone in poor health will think of, and someone of a different income bracket will think of. They'll say, you've got 2 arms and 2 legs that work, you're healthy, you're slim, you're very fit, and you're strong, you have a college degree, you look young for your age, you still look like you're in college, you can do so much more with what you have, and yet you're sad. My known knowns are where I put my attention to, and I overlook things that I don't realize that I have. Those are the kinds of known knowns that others need to remind us of. And we'll get to that in a moment, because now we go to the known unknowns. I know that I don't have a job offer right now. I know that there are some things that are lacking in my life. I just don't know how to identify what they are. I just know the feeling of lack. I know the emptiness. And there's a desire to fill that void. Those known unknowns are what motivate me to just do shit. They will be what motivate you to do your shit as well as you explore and discover. The next thing, the unknown unknowns, the things we don't know that we don't know. This can tie in to the other two topics above, or the other two criteria rather. I don't know that there are people who care. For example, if I think about people who care, I think of specific individuals. I do not realize that there are individuals who care about me who I don't put in my mind space. I don't know that there are talents that I have that I don't think have any value. I don't believe that there are some things that I've achieved that are actual achievements. According to other suicide survivors, getting by another day is an achievement. Living another day without those thoughts, living another day and looking forward to the next, is a huge victory. And I don't count that as a victory at times, in spite of the fact that a lot of my mind space goes to what I don't have. But it really should be what I don't know that I don't know. So, from known knowns to known unknowns to unknown unknowns from Donald Rumsfeld. Let's go to the fourth criteria from Slavoj Žižek, the unknown knowns, which I've hinted at. I don't know that I have something very useful, for example, when it comes to my esoteric practices. In fact, I should be using them much more, given that every time that I have used my metaphysical talents, or my creative, artistic talents, they have brought more joy and opportunities and abundance in my life than when I ignored them, trying to be practical and rational. Here's a story of when I was leaving Tanzania, when I decided I didn't want to be in the Peace Corps anymore. I just finished Peace Corps volunteer training, and upon my exit interview, I realized I didn't want to be in East Africa. I didn't want to serve in the Peace Corps. I wanted to be back in Southeast Asia. I wanted to be back in Manila. And so, when I got to the airport, when they were inspecting my things, the security guards noticed I carried pocket crystals for good luck. They asked me, where is my certificate of purchase? And one of my stones was a tanzanite, and the other was a moldavite. And I told them I brought it into the country. They said, oh, that's not possible. You're actually a smuggler, another Chinese smuggler. And I say, well, I might be Chinese, but I'm a U.S. citizen. I was with the Peace Corps. Blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, if you don't have a certificate when you bring this in, we can't validate if you brought it in or if you're trying to sneak this out. And I say, no, I really carry them and I use them for a purpose. And they say, all right, so what's the purpose? I roll my eyes, sigh, and I say, okay, I do energy healing. I use the stones to enhance my energy and to make people feel better. And the guards say, oh, really? Okay, show us. Now, regardless of what you feel about energy healing or Reiki, which is something that I still no longer have any interest in, it helped me in that moment when I needed it. I did some Reiki on one security guard, second security guard, third security guard. Suddenly, almost the entire wing of that airport is queuing up to receive healing from head to toe. They go from antagonizing me to saying, oh, Rafiki, will you please give me a crystal? Please, you bless me. Can you heal me of herpes? Can you heal me of cancer? I say, I can't do that. I can only do what I can right now to help you feel better. I can only demonstrate a bit. Oh, Rafiki, please come back to Tanzania. Help us, help us. That was an unknown known. A talent that I had tried to forget, but came very useful in that moment. Reiki healing. It saved my life. It saved me from paying a fee or going to jail for perceived smuggling on trumped-up charges. Other talents I have, whether it's reading things like tarot or the Akashic Records, geomancy and the I Ching, teaching internal martial arts, which I used to do for a while, Qigong, Neigong, all that stuff in the esoteric world. Then you also have my creative skills, like my writing. I've had people pay me to write love letters for them, like Cyrano de Bergerac. This is how they would score with someone they liked on OkCupid in the most perfect message. This is how they would make up with boyfriends and girlfriends when having relationship issues, by helping them find the words in their own hearts and saying it in the best way possible to communicate that message. Writing is a talent, and I just thought it was something I did to amuse myself. Communication of those ideas and the heart. A universal talent that very few people can use most efficiently and truly speak to someone's heart and soul. A talent that I have, but I keep on asking myself, well, how am I going to make money off of this? The question isn't how am I going to make money off of this, how am I going to use this most efficiently in my own life and to help serve others, fulfilling my greatest potential. That unknown known is recognizing you can do so much with what you have if you allow yourself to accept you have hidden talents that others value. My best friend in Korea keeps on telling me, Johnny, you have this talent, you have gifts, use them, recognize them. Your life will improve when you embrace them and use them and share them. The world is looking for these gifts. People will pay money for it, and people will be grateful for what you have, even if they don't pay money for it. I hid it because I didn't value myself. So, with that unknown known, that's why this vlog is here. For me to recognize I have this gift, and for you to look for your own. One way to do that is the SWAT analysis, which are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Just doing shit means having this kind of framework intuitively without actively needing to think about it and analyze. When it's useful to incorporate is when you need to step back because your emotional state and your mental noise are overwhelming. So overwhelming that you can't organize your thoughts and feelings. So using a SWOT analysis helps you step back to objectively look at yourself. When you use a SWOT analysis, you recognize your strengths. Then you look at your weaknesses. And by recognizing your weaknesses, you know what to work on. When you look at your opportunities, you don't feel so helpless. You're not stuck. When you look at your threats, you learn to find solutions and how to identify them, overcome them, and make the columns for weaknesses and threats shrink. When you can do this, it's easier to be kind to yourself through a better framework to look at yourself, seeing yourself as you are without ignoring the unknown knowns. And this helps you realize the abundance mindset instead of the scarcity mindset, or the victim mindset, the entitlement mindset, and the failure mindset. Esteemed actor Jim Carrey wishes everyone could become rich, famous, and have all their dreams come true, because he wants people to understand that it does not solve any of your problems and it does not make you happy. Eleanor Roosevelt is often quoted as saying, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Well, unfortunately, I like to compare because there are so many things that I'm lacking. When I look at my ex-girlfriend Dana, I say at 40 years old she bought her own house after working so hard since she was a teenager and climbing up, while I wasted my opportunities that I was born with because I felt I deserved it and I was entitled to it. And soon, I lost those opportunities. I lost those people in what I believed were my support group. My peers, my friends, and my social class. They didn't care about me. These are not people that have my best interests. I didn't do a SWAT analysis, and I didn't recognize that I should have known these people don't care about my dreams. They don't have their own because they have everything they want already. And yet there's this void. Even with all the money in the world, large houses, servants to drive them around and do their laundry, even in their 40s and 50s so they can act like eternal children, they're miserable. They're not doing shit. What they are doing is starting shit. What they are doing is starting bullshit. There is nothing to derive from their actions. Everything is a means of escaping themselves. Escaping the flaccid existence that they have. Everything is meaningless to them. They see no joy in achievement because everything is handed to them already. They have no drive to succeed or be better. They have all the money and the privilege to make their problems go away, and no one is willing to honestly put them in their place. But if someone like me comes along and says, "Hey man, I don't care how much money you have or how you like to treat everyone, but if you cheat on your wife and you treat her like shit and you're snorting cocaine all the time, I don't want to be your friend." I said this to someone years ago, and he got angry at me, saying that he's my friend and he always pays for things. I say, I don't need you to pay for things. I need to be around good people. And this is the kind of thing that upsets me. You live your life the way you want to, but this is not how I want to live my life, and these are not the kind of people I want to be around. Son of a millionaire with his other friends who are sons of millionaires, all snorting cocaine or crystal meth, all surrounded by hot girls, doing things like renting yachts. Not my thing. Being around someone who just does shit, whether it's drawing dinosaurs on restaurant napkins, or spontaneously decides to take a road trip and doesn't have a car, so she rents a car or she hops on a bus and just goes to the mountains to hike, or to the beach. Someone who calls me and says, "Hey, let's go to the art gallery. They have a new exhibit up." That's spontaneous life. That is not impulsive, but has a joie de vivre, a lust for life, a joy of living. That is just doing shit. Keep your process constant, night or day, rain or shine, good or bad. Your process doesn't change even if your circumstances change. Even if the people around you and your environment change, your process remains the same. By remembering your known unknowns and your unknown knowns and all that's important. Alright, thank you for watching this video. I will see you again in the next one.